How much better would you perform if you slept for at least 10 hours per night? These are the top 5 effects of sleep extension, and they're all supported by peer-reviewed journal articles, the gold standard in science. If you'd like to review those articles, you can see them in the description box below. Number 5. Speed. Usain Bolt won the 100-meter dash in 9.58 seconds back in 2009, and nobody has even gotten close to that time since then. And he slept 12 hours per day. That's no coincidence. Multiple studies have confirmed that extensive sleeping does improve speed. One of those studies was of the Stanford University basketball team. And you might know that Stanford has an incredible academic reputation. They're ranked number 3 in the world, according to US News and World Report, the most famous of the rankings. But what you might not know is that Stanford also takes its sports very seriously. That school has won more national championships than anybody else. Its student athletes, like on the basketball team, are very highly trained, and those basketball players probably run sprints fairly regularly. They've reached what you might consider a high-level plateau for their sprint speed. So, how much could extensive sleep improve their sprint speeds? To answer that question, researchers asked the basketball team to sleep for at least 10 hours per night for approximately 6 weeks, and their sprint speeds improved by 4%. That might not seem like a lot at first, but put that back into perspective. These are top-level athletes who are highly trained and have already hit that plateau. For people like this, that could be the difference between winning the Olympics and not even qualifying. Remember, in 2024, Lyles won the 100-meter dash in 9.8 seconds or so, and the minimum qualifying time to go to the Olympics at all was 10 seconds. Another study looked at trained cyclists, and the results for that study were similar. Number 4. Skill. Roger Federer is often considered the most skilled tennis player to live. And like Usain Bolt, he slept 12 hours. So it might not surprise you to find out that long sleep has been shown to improve skill. One study involved putting high-level tennis players on 2 extra hours sleep per night. After just 2 weeks, their serving accuracy improved by 17%. That's huge for high-level athletes. That's why skill is ranked higher on this list than the previous entry, speed. And it's not just tennis skill that sleep improves. It improves basketball skill too. Let's go back to that Stanford study. As you'll recall, that Stanford basketball team increased their sleep to at least 10 hours per night for about 6 weeks, and their three-point percentage shooting increased by 9%. At that level of athletic competition, that's incredible. That's the difference between being a normal three-point percentage shooter and being one of the best. The other measure of shooting that was obtained through that study was of free throws. Free throw shooting also increased by 9%. That's the difference between being a normal free throw shooter and the person the coach selects to shoot penalty free throws. It's not surprising that LeBron James, the most famous of the active basketball players, emphasizes sleeping at least 10, if not 12 hours per day. Number 3, reflexes. This is probably the most impressive of the physical improvements. Once more, let's go back to that Stanford basketball team. Sleep extension improved reaction times by 12%. Serious video game players often drink massive amounts of caffeine because it enhances reaction times by about 5%. To put that in context, great sleep improved high-level athletes' reaction times by 2.5 times as much as the most common performance-enhancing drug, caffeine. Anyone wanting superhuman reaction time should skip the caffeine and focus on sleep instead. Number 2, vigilance. This is the first of the proven mental benefits of increasing sleep, and you might consider it a test of a soldier's ability to patrol. A soldier needs to stay alert to danger and spot it when it arrives. Researchers tested this by putting men ages 26 to 37 on approximately 10 hours sleep per night for 6 weeks. Their ability to patrol did improve. They were able to give sustained attention for longer. Here's the interesting twist. The researchers then deprived those men of their sleep. The ability to stay attentive the night and day, and perhaps even the night following that after an attack, could be critical in times of war. And the people who had had that 6 weeks of extended sleep were able to perform better under those circumstances as well. Number 1. Overall cognitive performance. Sleeping long also seems to make you smarter generally. Einstein slept at least 10 hours, and he was pretty smart. Researchers performed a fun test of this at MIT. As you probably know, MIT is very well respected and is currently ranked number 2 in the world according to US News and World Report. And if you're only looking at science and math, it's usually considered number 1. Researchers asked 100 students from a large MIT chemistry course to wear sleep trackers. They were curious whether there was a correlation between the amount that people slept and their performance on the final exam. The amount of sleep right before the exam wasn't closely correlated, but the amount of sleep over the entire semester was. Here's the graph. This line shows that more sleep generally equaled higher scores, and the top scores in the class were from the people who slept the most. The person who slept the most of all got the highest score in the class. To be clear, not all kinds of sleep improvements will bring about these kinds of performance enhancements. A scientific review concluded that trying to sleep more efficiently didn't have these results, nor did short naps. And another review concluded long-term sleep change is needed, not just one day of more sleep. So if you are trying to obtain these benefits, you'll need to regularly sleep long. In a future video, we'll go over how to do that. If you liked this video, YouTube thinks that you'll like that one too, so check it out. And subscribe if you'd like to watch our next video, which will also be on sleep. Thanks for watching.